They evacuated people for 200 miles. I didn't move down here to be scared about my life and raising a family and my family being hurt. I don't want to put up with it again.
Thank you.
Maybe you're covering up everything. People ask questions. You're giving nothing but BS. Come out with some straight answers and tell us how you feel about us.
How many of you live on a farm?
Let him answer, please. Would you like to respond on it?
I'm not sure that I can respond to that.
All I want to know is how you feel about these people.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's address questions to Thermal Kim, please.
My name is Dot Newton, and I live here in Oxford, and this is not a question for Thermal Kim, but it's for the lady who identified herself as a grandmother at the last two meetings. She indicated at those meetings that she would have a concern for the health of her grandchildren, and she would not want her grandchildren raised where this incinerator was. I would like to know, ma'am, what in the name of God and all that is holy gives you the right to risk the health of my granddaughter? Is not safe.
You're a liar.
Quiet, please. Ms. Odom.
I don't know what I can say to that except that.
Goodbye. Say
Quiet,
goodbye.
please.
I think I told you before that as far as I was concerned, I hope that it wouldn't be anywhere in the state of North Carolina.
Right.
But the fact remains that the North Carolina General Assembly has decreed that
We seal the law.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
has decreed that this facility be sited somewhere in North Carolina. Put it in your town, ma'am.
Quiet, please. Please allow her to answer the question.
And we are trying by being here tonight to listen to you, to get as much input from you as possible. I know the commission has been appointed by 3 people according to law. 5 by the governor of North Carolina. 2 by the president of the Senate, and 2 by the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Quiet, please.
However unpleasant it may be, it is the law. That's the most that I can do. And I assume, ma'am, what you're saying, that you agree with me and the rest of the people of Oxford and Granville County that this is not safe. You just have to put it somewhere so where as good a group to kill off is in it.
Yeah!
Questions are not addressed to Thermal Kim, then I will not allow them to be answered. Please address questions to Thermal Kim.
My name is Tanya Lockwood. I'm Christy Shannon, and I was born and raised in Granville County. And if you can put an incinerator in our county, why can't you put it in Jim Martin's backyard?
Yeah!
We have a whole life to live. We're only 15 years old, and we have a whole life ahead of us. And look at all the other little kids out here. What are they going to do?
Thank you, ma'am. Thermal Kim? I believe the question is posed was, why don't you put it in Jim Martin's backyard? That's the Thermal Kim.
We are concerned.
No, you're not. No!
Quiet, please.
Why don't you go put it in your backyard?
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Let these people answer the questions. And please direct questions to Thermal Chem. We'll have an opportunity to address the issues at the public hearing on June 27th. Tonight, we need to question Thermal Chem as to its operations, its policies, and procedures. Please address your questions to Thermal Chem. Young lady, I believe you've already asked a question. Sir, would you like to ask a question? Thank you. There is no answer. Jim Martin doesn't want it. We don't want it. Sir?
My name is Christy Edwards, and if Jim Martin don't want it, why don't he just tell him that he don't want it right now? And he's the one that right now that's keeping all this mess going on. Why don't he just tell them if he don't want it? Why don't he just tell them he don't want it? Get out.
Oh, man. Sir, would you like to address the question of Thermal Chem?
Straight to Thermal Chem. There's no question in my mind how dangerous your operation is to the health of people because we've checked your records. But I want to ask you something, straight to Thermal Chem. It is as hard to find out anything about your organization as it is a money laundering scheme and a drug operation. Your company hides behind more upfront corporate names than I can put in a hat. You cannot find anything out about your company. It's like you're hiding something. Why is it so hard to find out anything about your company?
We have answered the question, please.
We have provided numerous information to the commission through the selection process. We were one of many companies that they were interested in talking to about this facility. So we provided quite a bit of information about our financial background, our organization, facilities.
All right.
Quiet, please.
All right, since I haven't seen any of that information, and said, well, our digging didn't uncover that. How are you linked at all in any way to Advanced Environmental Technology Corporation?
They are a company that does business in this marketplace.
And has an office 1 block from yours in New Jersey. Talk to me.
No, that's not correct. They're in Flanders, New Jersey, here in Wawa.
But you moved
Those are about 30 miles apart.
coincidence.
They operate in this business, as do any number of companies, and we do some business with them, as well as direct generators, household,
You
municipalities.
do deal with AETC.
Yes, we do.
Why did you only provide information for the last 4 years? What about all your history since you've been in the United States?
We could provide that. We were only requested for some recent
We
information.
want it. The people of Granville County want it. We want all the information that's required that you came to the United States.
These questions are addressed to Thermal Chem. My name is Arthur
Speak
Zankowski.
up, please.
My name is Arthur Zankowski. I'm a scientist. I asked some questions before, which I got no response. And since your technical team is here, I'm going to ask a couple of technical questions. I'd like the audience to listen to them. Number one, in your facility in North Carolina at present that you're going to shut down, just what were the effluents from your exhaust stack composed of? Just give me a broad general picture. What are we talking about? Please, let him talk. Let him answer.
The primary constituents of the stack will be carbon dioxide, water vapor, nitrogen, which are all natural products of combustion.
All right. Let's assume for the moment that is correct. In what proportions do the contaminants exist in the total effluents, the emissions from any stack at any given moment, how much pollution comes out degree-wise? A simple answer, please.
The combined grouping of the regulated constituents that would be considered regulated under the Superfund law, the SARA law, would be about 150 pounds per year, which is far less.
What's the proportion? Let's put it this way. What's the proportion in percentage of the effluents coming from the stack at any given moment?
Excuse me, can you repeat
the percentage? What's the percentage? What's the percentage? 90, is it 99.9% pure as I understand it? And there's only 1/10 of 1% effluents? Is that somewhere near the baseline figure?
Okay. The carbon dioxide and water vapor makes up about 99.94%.
Correct. But did you forget for
Watch
the
the
moment,
language, please.
Did you forget for the moment that carbon dioxide today is now considered a pollutant adding to the global warming? That brings your figures up over 50%.
Well, then you got to worry about cars then and power plants because they put out a lot more CO2.
You're correct, but gentlemen, I have to inform you, your technology is primitive. You're not doing anything more than what a caveman did when he rubbed two sticks together and started a fire. Combustion is a science today. It is not a technology. And those problems are being solved. And what are you going to do when within the next 5 years, the science brings onto the scene combustion, which does not pollute and lowers the carbon dioxide levels? What's going to happen to that plant out there? You're going to abandon it.
I can't predict the technology. I can only tell you that
I've done 35 years researching it.
Facility, and that we use proven components with proven track records.
All right. Well, proven components with proven track records. All right. Radicals, free radicals. You know what they are? That's not this crowd out here. I'm talking about science free radicals. Those components which are constructed within the combustion process itself. Now we're talking combustion process itself, gentlemen. We're not talking about the pollutants that are derived those after. Those are ipso post facto products. What do you know about the actual combustion process as it occurs within your system? Does it produce carcinogens? Are they consumed? Are they transported into another form, in either liquid to vapor or gaseous matter? Are you simply saying that you have enough heat? Heat. You use the term thermo. Thermo. That means heat. In your process. Gentlemen, some of these contaminants will take up to 100,000 degrees Kelvin to dissociate, to disperse, to disband. Are you telling me you're reaching those kind of temperature equivalents in your process?
We control what we burn. We don't burn everything.
Oh,
what we
thank
burn
you.
are organic
That's what
materials.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
To correct temperature. Please let me finish. When I reference that we don't burn everything, I mean we don't accept everything at this facility. We control what we bring in the doors to try to control what goes through the unit. So we would not actually put anything in that wouldn't be treated to the minimum standards, which are 99.99% removal.
Mr. Woodliff, quiet please.
I'm Alvin Woodliff. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff that you're putting out, but I do have a small business about a quarter of a mile from this proposed facility. And for my many friends in this audience who are concerned for their health and the unborn generation in Granville County, I would like to know what steps you're taking with your burn of the hazardous products of your incinerator to keep it from our water supply. What safeguards do we have against our water being polluted forever?
We use several levels of instrumentation to control that. We have, for example, voluntarily put in
Quiet, please.
air monitoring stations outside our facility to monitor any ambient material, and that is directly linked voluntarily to, in our case, Columbia, South Carolina, so that the agencies can read those instruments as we read those instruments.
Mr. Kirk, I'm speaking of the contaminants that I've never heard of any kind of container being completely leak-proof. This ash that you're burning, arsenic, and all the dioxins and other stuff, what assurance do you have that none of it will ever leak out into our water supply?
We test the ash afterwards, and it has to meet federal and state standards before it can be placed into the residual landfill.
Doesn't your record say that you have 20% left over after all you can burn?
That is correct. When you treat a material, you reduce its volume by about 80%, so there was a 20% residual through an incinerator process.
You burn the stuff that won't hurt us and put the stuff that'll kill us in the ground, is that correct?
I didn't hear a response to the last question.
The landfill itself has a double liner system, 2 synthetic liners, as well as 2 layers of compacted clay. In between each layer is an instrumentation to sense anything that might come through, as well as a system to pump any liquids that appear back up for treatment again.
Young man?
My name's Richard Cole, and I want to ask this. How would you like it if you had to be one of us and they make this toxic waste? How would you like it if you had to had to lose your job, had to move somewhere, and you don't even know where to live?
I understand your concern. In Rock Hill, we first located there 8 years ago. There was no industry around us. Today we have several industrial facilities, and the city has grown during that time frame and has focused on the type of growth that the citizens of Rock Hill want today.
You don't live in Rock Hill.
Thank you, young man. Ma'am, that's awesome.
You don't live in Rock Hill.
My name is Jean Huff. John, you have really asked the impossible for us to say just ask questions, but I have to remember.
Give it your best shot, Jean.
I do love all people, including Darrell Hinnett. I have 3 questions. My first one is for the gentleman from Thermochem. I serve as a guardian ad litem for Granville County, and I know what we do for child abusers in Granville County. Has your children been taken out of your home and put with parents who will keep them in a safe environment?
I can only tell you that the most precious thing in my life, you can take all this, are my children. I believe myself to be a very responsive person, a very moral person, and I do not believe I am exposing my children to anything that will harm them, or I would not do it.
Quiet, please. Jane?
Is Nuchem the parent company of Thermochem?
American Nuchem is the parent company of Thermochem.
Okay. Then tell me, why did the West German government suspend their GmbH nuclear license?
We responded to that issue. In fact, those responses are available to you.
I'd like to hear it.
I'll be glad to discuss it with you. I just wanted to let you know that you can get a written response for a more thorough analysis. There was some accusations made in the German press, as well as by a new political group in Germany, that there were improper things being done with the nuclear fuels that were produced by Nuchem. The German government, rightfully so, took that very seriously. They suspended those licenses pending investigation. They did a thorough investigation. The government itself, the city of Hanau, and 2 independent European agencies, Euratom and the International Atomic Energy Commission, After those investigations, they reinstated the licenses, saying there was no defendable information that backs the allegations, and that business was started again.
Would you be honest enough to tell us if any money passed hands to get those licenses back?
I couldn't comment on that. I can only tell you that one of the, I don't know, I wasn't there. I can only tell you that one of the newspapers has called over there to confirm this. I think it was the Charlotte Observer, and they were satisfied that it was confirmed that the investigation was thorough and there was no substance to the allegations.
But we should trust your company, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
But we in Granville County should trust your company, right?
I can only tell you what our track record is and show what our history is.
Will there be any products of incomplete combustion coming out of the smokestack of this facility?
In response to the Science Advisory Board studies that are often quoted by certain environmental groups, EPA has come up with a new set of regulations that became effective. And these regulations limit the amount of hydrocarbons that can come from an incinerator to a level that's considered safe. And there won't be any levels of products of incomplete combustion of any health concern.
Can you measure levels of products of incomplete combustion? Do you have that kind of equipment?
We have continuous monitors in place for hydrocarbons and carbon monoxides, and these have been thoroughly researched by EPA, correlated with the products of incomplete combustion formation.
But I don't believe that dioxins are hydrocarbons, are they?
Dioxins are not hydrocarbons, but there's been a correlation made between relating these parameters to dioxin formation.
But the point is that you do not know what is coming out of the stack.